Welcome to Journey with Josh. I'm Josh Ubaldi, and we're taking you on a journey of a lifetime into marketing and advertising. Together, we'll solve every mystery about marketing you've ever come across so you can get all the leads and sales you want, and best of all, how to grow a business you truly love. Welcome back to Marketing Therapist. I, of course, am today's marketing therapist, Josh Ubaldi. This, of course, is a segment of Journey with Josh, the podcast where we solve all your marketing and advertising online mysteries. And today, I thought we'd do something already a little different because I wanted to give you some idea of some more advanced questions. I love all of your questions. Keep sending your questions in. No question is too simple. Absolutely no question is stupid in any way whatsoever. Our goal is consistently to move aside all the obstacles for you, connect you with your marketing directly to your audience, and create more momentum and give you those real 10x results finally. But ultimately, we really want to dive into many different types of questions here. So today, I thought we would literally take some more advanced complex questions. As a reminder, right, we are answering here in this space questions about online advertising, specifically Facebook or Instagram ads, if you'd like. We are answering marketing questions, and we're absolutely also answering launch questions. And I've got a couple interesting launch questions today too that I want to share with you that came in with me. So without further ado, I want to dive in. This one's going to be a little different because I'm going to answer some questions that are actually from a client that I want to share with you privately, confidentially, very respectfully. I'm not going to share any names because that is not part of the equation here. But these are really good questions, and I do answer quite a few questions like this in general. So I'm going to share these with you. So these are all from one of my clients. These are all from the same client. And just for a touch of context, right? This is a client who has completed a launch. And ultimately, the client is trying to make sure they have clarity about their expectations, all of this. Literally, every question I answer is ultimately about having the very best expectations to take the best next step, right? I want you to know and feel really confident about understanding the rules of this game so you can choose to break them when you want, if you want. But I want you to know what the next step is always going to be based on what's happening. And these questions really fit that bill. So today I'm going to share these touch more advanced. Don't let this hold you back though. If you have very simple questions, send them in. I guarantee next segment, we're going to go back to kind of a nice breadth and variety of questions. Okay, so from my client, here we go. I have some questions as the conversion numbers are coming in from the last launch. Name of the launch, right? The last launch. I wondered from your perspective, what is a good goal for a % conversion from a free event to a paid event? 2,500 people, roughly, came into the free event and 86 bought. This feels low to me. Now, first off, I want to kind of address a couple elephants in the room, right? Some people might be like, oh my God, 25 people came into their free event. That's awesome. Oh my God, 86 people came into their free event. That's awesome. I know other people may be thinking, oh, just 86 buyers? Amateur hour or something like this, right? I know it's a continuum. However, this is truly pertinent, in my opinion, for everybody because you can tweak little things that will make really big differences. And that's really the goal with this. So the client is here saying, right, this feels like a low conversion rate, and they're asking for what's a good goal for a percentage conversion from a free event to a paid event. Now, let's be very direct and clear about this. Launches like this are all about the numbers. And even if you don't start there, I'm going to say the biggest gift you can give yourself is to start shifting into this space, just like this very clever client of mine is doing, and thinking about percentages. Because when you think about percentages, You actually have something very black and white that you get to mold and control. And I do mean control. And you get to influence and contribute and build upon. If your percentages are high and they're bad options, you can take actions to reduce that and make them smaller numbers. If you're looking for better results and more, you can take the actions that we're going to talk through and increase these numbers. So I'm going to start by throwing some numbers at you because I'm going to blatantly throw out there, it's a numbers game, right? So I want to start actually by sharing something like about webinars, because that's a really nice, easy comparison to make. So let's start here, okay? Common numbers. I'm going to give you some common numbers that are not universal, but they are very common, right? So let's say that 1,000 people join your webinar. Okay, so 1,000 people sign up for your webinar is really what I mean. If 1,000 people sign up for your webinar, let's say 100 of those people show up. Now, is that a good job of incentivizing people to show up? No, but it's not the best job. But let's say that that's a realistic number for where your business might be right now. So you have 1,000 people sign up and 100 people show up. And standard averages right now would say of all the people who show up, not the people who join, but the people who show up, a standard conversion rate for whatever a pretty good cost offer is, let's say $1,000 to $2,000 plus dollars. So I'm going to say $1,000 to $3,000. If you have an offer of $1,000 to $3,000, a pretty average rate is you will get 10 to 15% of people to convert on the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 offer. Now, what does that mean? That means you got 1,000 people onto your webinar, but truly 10 to 15% of 100 of people who showed up are going to convert. And that's 10 to 15 people. That may equate to 10 at $1,000, right? That's $10,000, or 10 people at $2,000. That's $20,000. Or you may get 15% people converting on a $1,000 offer, but there's $15,000 of revenue, right? Basic numbers to start to get used to and feel good about. You feel clear, you feel confident, you see how I'm using this as a funnel to get some pretty regular averages, okay? So if you get someone on a webinar and you're making the $1,000 offer, those are some numbers to expect. 1,000 people join, 100 people show up, 10 to 15% buy. In the case of 100 people showing up, 10 to 15 people. You could literally listen to this again, jot it all down, and you could look at that little flow. That's literally a customer journey in action closer to this end of the sales, right? That's all it is. It's yet a shorter, more concentrated journey of a customer journey. Now, in this case, my client is saying that 2,500 people came and 80 something people bought. Now, this was a live event. This was a 2 or 3 day event. I don't fully remember, but it was a multi-day event. And they have done this before. This is not the first time out the gate. Now, for a multi-day event, that is not just one webinar over an hour. It's a multi-day event with multiple hours per day. And a lot of people are investing time and spending time with them. 2,500 people came there. And 80 something people bought. And 80 something out of that 2,500 is effectively, and their number, I just reminded myself, is something close to 3.3%. So 3.3% of all the people who joined the event have actually bought. Now, this isn't just a webinar because you don't have this limited time frame of just an hour. And you gotta share everything really concisely and really high energy over an hour, and they have to be, nurtured to buy over that hour. And after the hour, your opportunities are gone. It's so not that, right? This is so much more about, well, you have multiple days for people to get involved and come back to at their own time. This makes a really big difference. So 3%, so I'm going to say this, in the regular world of online marketing and all the people whose programs I've been in and all these other people that I'm very aware of over time for years and years and years now, the average for events like this of conversion is about 2 to 3%. So this client at 3.3% is actually smack dab in the middle of an average result When the offer, I'm going to say, is $2,000 to $5,000. When the offer is $2,000 to $5,000, this is a very average result. So this is a great question, right? What's a good goal? Percentage conversion from a free event to a paid event. There you go. You got 3.3%. You're doing better. But here's the clincher. This client's offer was not $2,000. It was well under $1,000. So I would want to see that percentage increase. So what's the question here? Is that a good percentage? It's a standard one if your price point is higher. It feels low to you. What can you then do? So here's a couple of thoughts that I have that constantly are able to move the needle, and I always share them. And now I want to share them with you, because if you can start to think about things like this, you can get creative really fast, because I know you are creative. This is why for me in my world, when I know that when you know the rules of how great marketing is going to work and great advertising, you can get really creative to bend those rules to work for you. Or you can break them if that works and you want to try things out. It's always worth breaking the rules if you can get results you want at the end of it. I get it. You don't have to do everything in this straitjacketed way where you're really held and frozen in place. So here's the deal, right? If this is low, how do you increase the percent? Oh, right? We want to get this from 80 something to just 100. 100 people could buy out of 2,500. How do you get that extra 20 people here? And here's what I would say. The client asked me this question really soon after the launch. And I think that's always too soon to answer this type of question. You want to make the follow-up offers. You want to make the downsell. Whatever this was packaged as, this paid event, you want to have the opportunity to run your launch a little longer, keep something about that cart open a little longer, or make more of a downsell and get more people in. Just because the first time you closed cart or you finished your launch, the total sales were 80 something, you can still nudge that up. You can still get 100 people to buy. You then have to continue to make strong, powerful, clear offers to people. And a downsell is a great way to do it. You can repackage something and make it a downsell. You could offer more bonuses and make it a downsell. You can literally get on the phone with people and say, it looks like you weren't able, right? If someone's willing to get on the phone with you and say, this isn't a right time for me, or this wasn't the best offer, and you want to get on the phone and make them a sweeter deal, you can do that and increase this percentage. So many ways to do it. But this is not done. Does it feel low? I'd say it feels low because it is a little low. And that's the key here. You get to control and move things around when you know the rules of the game. And if it feels a little low, it's important that you know the big picture context and that 3% is really average, but you should get more people in because it's a lower price point. That's exactly right. That's where you want to start from. And then you get really, really creative. So that's a great question from a client. And then we can pull things apart from there a little further to maybe come up with some different solutions, options, things to test and play with. Hey, it's Josh here. Are you finally ready for advertising that works every single time? If so, then download the 3 T's of great advertising right now. We're going to give you our simple 3-step system that quite literally works every time for ads that do the job time and again. And as well, we're also going to give you the 7 marketing must-haves. These are the main principles so you can get the absolute most out of your investment in any type of Facebook and Instagram ads and beyond. Don't hesitate. Let's get started today and make this super simple. It's certainly not rocket science, and there's no smoke and mirrors. Download it today at www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. One more time, that's www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. And we'll see ya on the other side. Second question. Now, same client, and this client's talking about a near future event that's going to happen after this launch, the next type of launch. So for a repeated offer like this retreat, so it's a retreat that they're offering, for a repeated offer like this retreat, June will be our second time offering it. What is a reasonable goal for conversations, but I'm going to say you really mean conversions. Higher because we have social proof to leverage, lower because it isn't brand new. I was thinking of offering a healthy discount for people who already bought it last year. Any thoughts? Yes, yes, yes. I have thoughts. As you were hearing this too, did you also have thoughts? Did you have thoughts of saying, oh, and ultimately, there's a lot of questions here. So, this is what I love about clients and students diving into this work because it makes good things come to mind for you that are your next steps in place. It enables you and empowers you. And I want to make sure you are fully empowered to let that creativity bubble up because you know how these rules are working. So, I'm going to break this down a little bit. For whatever this retreat is, what's a reasonable goal for conversions? I literally just broke it down for you, right? If the retreat is close to $1,000 to $2,000, maybe you get a 3 to 5% conversion rate. If it's much, much, much lower, shoot for that 10 to 15% conversion rate. Now, I don't know what event they're using to launch that. She didn't mention it here. And I think we did ads on this last June or whenever they did this, but I don't remember that off the top of my head. Is it a webinar? Maybe. Is it an email? I don't know. Is it going to be a multi-day event? Possibly. Either way, let's just say we'll use the webinar version of numbers for this, right? So you're going to shoot for 10 to 15% of people converting, right? It's an easier target rather than like, oh, I want 50 people, I want 100 people, right? The numbers will never really work like that. That's like wishful drinking, right? Wishful drinking. At the end of the day, you want things grounded in what's really probable and possible, not just like pie in the sky possible, right? So shoot for 10 to 15%. If you could get 200 people into the event to offer the retreat and you get 10 to 15% of people to buy, there's 20 to 30 people, right? If you can get a lot more, ultimately, one thing that's really important, and this is really true for everything with launch, everything launch related, or if you're launching similar types of events to get people to come to a retreat or buy a coaching program or take a course or something like this, you do want to start keeping track of your numbers launch to launch to launch. And you do want to look at them next to each other. So if your result was 2% of people converted last time, it may be a good goal to have to say, I want to really get 10%. But what was the reason only 2% of people converted last time? Hopefully you dove deep into that launch debrief and deconstruction and you were able to find out why more people didn't buy and then adjust that and get more people in at the time. You apply that same stuff to this launch and the launch should start at a much higher level, right? Much higher. If you fix the things that didn't go wrong last time, it starts at a much higher level, right? This is never, I see this mistake being made all the time. I never want to see people hitting the start over button. Let's start again. Let's start again. Let's start again. Oh my God, let's not start again. Let's improve what you have, understand your people better, listen to them and see what is really what they want. Make sure you're delivering to them what they want and you can give them what you know they need. If that's a big piece of the equation, it is for everybody. There's a little pro advanced tip. Everybody comes at this with like what you need, but give people what they want and then crank your percentage up. That's applying everything. It's never starting from scratch over and over. That's crazy making, right? I never want people to go crazy. So in this case, really good questions. We know what the reasonable goal for conversion might be. Shoot for 10 to 15%. And if it's 2% in the past, shoot for 5 to 10%. And really engage with your audience. Biggest mistake I see most people make throughout launches is they're delivering, and they're so last minute about putting everything together, and they don't engage with their audience. If you engage with your audience during a launch and you answer their questions, most people want to be heard, and they need to say, is this right for me? Your audience member ultimately is always thinking, but is this right for me? And when you give them the beautiful hug of a chance to say, you can ask me, is this right for me? And I will tell you. That's the biggest gift you as a business owner can give to your audience member who just needs to know that making that investment to go deeper with you is worth it. It's beautiful. It's a very high energy. The energy behind that is so high that you will be shocked by it if you start to implement that and engage with that. So, more interesting questions. Part of this question. Would we expect a higher goal because we have social proof to leverage? You should, right? You should be offering things low enough and clear enough to get great social proof so you can provide more social proof to people so they can say, well, it worked out for that guy, or it worked out for that lady, or it worked out for these people. Why shouldn't it work for me? Social proof always, of course, it's the flip side of authority, why people should believe that you have the solution to their problem. But social proof should elevate everything. So yes, 100%, if you have social proof and it's good social proof, you should expect a higher conversion role. And then the other question is, should you expect a lower goal because it isn't brand new? That's an interesting question, very pertinent to this specific client, right? Sometimes when you make a new offer out there, a lot of people take it because they're like, I haven't seen this before, or I haven't seen you do this. And the next time they offer it, it's not shiny brand new, but if you've improved the offer, if you've improved the offer, gotten people results, gotten social proof, and you can now come with a whole new level of confidence and clarity and breaking things apart about why people now absolutely need this because you've already done it once. You got it under your belt and other people do too. There's no reason for you to expect, because it's not brand new, that your conversion goal should actually be lower. It should keep getting higher. And obviously over time, it's a bit of a roller coaster. But it doesn't need to be this type of roller coaster, like something crazy at Magic Mountain. It could be like one of those San Diego SeaWorld things where it's like, oh no, this is fun and cool, but I'm not like terrified and I'm not losing my lunch over this. Okay, so you've got a lot of clarity on it. I've thrown a bunch of numbers your way. Pull that apart and just write it down and be like, oh yeah, I got this. You got this, right? This is not rocket science and it's not calculus. I dropped calculus and ran circles around results of everybody around me in high school because I didn't do the calculus. Why? Because I can't do calculus. I don't think that way. I barely think in algebra terms. You don't need to either. Okay. So deep breath. Okay. Final question. Finally, this is not a launch question. This is a really interesting question. Finally, we discussed team building, and I wanted to ask you again now that it is very relevant. What is a wise incentive to give a person working for us instead of raising their hourly rate that incentivizes higher sales? Now, this for me was almost a bit of a trick question from this client because we had really talked about this. And I feel like this client really asked me about this as a reminder, maybe to see if I was consistent in what I was saying. Here's the deal. You always gotta pull your numbers apart and write things out and get things out of your head and start looking at them black and white, right? Sometimes, and for some of the people on your team, so we're talking about team building, we're talking about assistants and VAs, virtual assistants, and anybody who's a member of your team who works for you here. But how do you compensate them? In some cases, and for some team members, the only thing they really, really want and the only thing they value is an increase in their hourly rate, if that's how you pay them. If you pay them with a salary or an hourly rate, they measure their value. They measure their input and their value in your business. They measure their loyalty to you by a constant and increasing input. It is really great. And in my experience with all the businesses that I work with, it is really valuable for you to directly have that conversation with your team members individually to find out what they believe motivates them. Because if you're happy with their work and you maybe give them, which we'll talk about in a second, a bonus, and they seem demoralized from the bonus that they've gotten, you need to know that they believe, and they could change it, but they believe at that point in time, an increase in their salary or hourly rate is the only thing that's going to matter really to them. And it's going to reflect their sense of importance in your eyes, their sense of value in your business, their sense of value in their own eyes. It's so important. I actually used to work in human resources, and I don't know that a lot of this stuff necessarily directly impacts a lot of what I'm saying, but I have had a really big experience a long time ago in really engaging in how people view their own connection and loyalty to a business. And sometimes these black and white numbers mean everything. So I want to put that out there in case you have a growing team or an expanding team and you want to think about how to compensate them a little strategically or differently. So as I take a sip, thanks for your patience, right? Some people, only an increase is going to work. Does it need to be a huge increase? No, it could be a 5% increase, 2% increase, depending on where they're starting from, right? In HR terms, actually, to go back in time, in true human resources terms, every great, big, successful business that I've been part of, the HR package offered to a new person will be very, very low so that they have room for growth. They want to be able to incentivize you with salary increases and possibly bonuses to say, you've done great. We can increase your salary 10%, maybe 15%, usually 2 to 5% type of thing. So for some people, find out. If you have people on your team and they say, no, the salary is the most important thing. Maybe for them, that means security, family, children, college payments, right? Put yourself in their shoes for a second and really remind yourself, what's important for me may not remotely be valuable and important for them. That's fine. You can meet them where they are and incentivize them there. However, I'm going to go out to left field a little differently. And I'm going to suggest something which I think is really super valuable, which is more in line with how a lot of online businesses work, online businesses with coaching, with courses, with these type of things. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, you may want to incentivize your people with bonuses. And you might want to incentivize your assistants and VAs and people on your team with sales bonuses. And that, in a nutshell, is nothing more than saying, well, if you're a big contributor to whatever these offers are, and different team members will contribute different amounts, percentage-wise, we could say, to different projects or launches. If you have someone who launches your main launch of the year and you expect to make $1 million and all those numbers are pulled apart, right? Some team members are going to influence the impact of getting that $1 million revenue in faster, more so than others. The person making your page look nice may not be the person with the same amount of percent bonus as the person writing the copy that influences, or the person who has the audience engagement, who's there saying, yes, this is for you. Yes, you're doing this. Yes, you need this, right? Everybody works a little differently, but, right, much more like a traditional sales job, right? A true sales job, right? It's working on a commission. So if you offer your team members a little extra commission, and it may be there's different offers in your business. You may have a business where there's really one offer. Great. Start offering them a commission and you give them X amount percent, right? Or, it could be a flat rate, but X amount for every sale. You can start low and increase this as they start to get more, right? As you start to send more their way. Isn't that amazing? Here's the benefit of this, especially in the online world, the digital world. Much like, right, it's the same principle of referral or affiliate marketing, same principle. Unlike increasing someone's salary, you don't have to pay them in advance, right? If you are starting in that bootstrap place and you're just doing your best to make things work and you're doing your best to, not put a lot of capital out before having revenue come in, right? You're not putting a lot of money out before more money comes in, right? Just like with affiliates, if you're giving a commission, 50% commission, right? You're not giving them the commission before the sale is made and you have that revenue, that income, to then give them a portion of that as a commission. Same thing here, right? If you don't have a lot of extra capital or working capital to work with, you just wait, you get the revenue, you get the sale, you wait till the period has passed where no one's getting a refund, and then you give them the commission like you would an affiliate. Oh, you're going to get 2% or 5%, or you're going to get $100 for every sale that we make because that's your contribution in this. And obviously, you have to welcome them into your business a little more to help them understand you're getting this amount and not a bigger amount because we have these operating expenses, we have these marketing expenses, right? It's not like when you're building a team, it's really important that your team doesn't think you're the one sucking 99% of profit out of the business for your personal use and everything else is really Scrooge-like, right? Stingy. They're not getting paid effectively. No marketing is being made effectively. No investments in growth are being paid effectively, but you get your $20,000 a month, right? People know that when they're working with you and when they see the offers that you're making and they see the prices you're asking for whatever those offers are. So you get to partner with people differently. But I love commission type bonuses because you pay them after the fact. You don't need to worry. You make your success and your business's success their success as well. But just keep in mind, the important thing is for some people, they can see exponential potential and growth there, and other people can't see that. For them, the extra 2% as a salary, even though that might be way less from the commissions and bonuses, is more important for them. And as a great business owner, you can do the loving, generous, beautiful thing of finding that out and compensating them appropriately that way. I love these conversations. I help a lot of people build their teams and expand their teams because I have an expanding team. I've expanded my team and created my team, and it's an expanding team consistently. And I've learned all these lessons the hard-won way, just like everything else in terms of the advertising, the marketing. But this is one of those things that should make your life and your joy in your business exponentially more exciting. So we talked about conversion numbers, and I threw a lot of numbers at you that you can jot down. We talked about expectations and things that might make things higher expectations or lower expectations. And we talked about team building. This comes directly from a client, I hope, because this person is getting so sophisticated and smart and clever about marketing, and their results are growing so much faster. Because of that, I want you to be able to maybe use that as inspiration for how you can put this inside your business. All right. Thank you for joining me here inside the Marketing Therapist session of Journey with Josh. I'm Josh Ubaldi. If you have questions, I want to answer your questions here. Inside Spotify, answer that question. If you're catching this on YouTube, jot down a question inside the comments or something like there. We will answer your questions and keep track of things and keep putting this out there. If you would like to go deeper with us, please come inside our mastermind, take the free trial, get all of the setup stuff for the Facebook ad starter kit that we have, the ultimate Facebook ad starter kit that I want you to run with, and definitely come into the trial for the mastermind so we can start helping you very specifically upgrade your business and create momentum faster. Your marketing is a direct line of communication and connection to your future buyers. May it carry your momentum forward. And again, you can always find us on Instagram and of course, Facebook and LinkedIn. You can go to goldenringmarketing.com and find us there as well. And please leave us your feedback, like, comment, and share so other people can also find this as well. And I can't wait to help contribute directly to your business and support you and your growth so you can stop making these incremental changes, which really are great, and start getting 10x results that you're looking for and find the freedom that I have helped myself and other people find on a completely different level. See you next time.